Welcome to the StockManor.com studios here in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your Stock Manor. I am Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. And after a slow bleed the last couple of days, an even stronger correction, and this is just how these waves work. Just a slow bleed the last couple of days, followed up at the end of the day by a massive turnaround in the markets, coming back to what? What was that? Finish positive. Amazing, amazing bounce. This is actually great. If you're new to Elliott Wave or you follow Elliott Wave, this is actually just textbook on the way down. Look at this 1, 2, 3, just bleeds you to death. As I said, never bouncing and allowing longs to get out, never bouncing, allowing new shorts to get in. It just kind of bleeds itself to death. And then all of a sudden, the correction comes, and it's fast, it's hard, it's furious. I've been talking about this the last few days, and that's precisely the action we saw today. Look at this big move up right at the end of the day. The daily ends on a huge candle. So now we end up with this big, I don't know, dragonfly slash hammer, if you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's a very bullish candle down here. Now we're going to have a lot of people scrambling over the weekends, I'm sure, to come up with a count for whatever this is. But I'll eyeball it, and you know what? I'll be honest. I'm not sold that this is necessarily the most bullish thing in the world. It definitely is a bullish candle. It's where it needs to be. It's at the bottom of a giant move. Huge volume. Volume came in late in the day. It's setting up extremely well, but it's only a potential reversal candle to me right now. I certainly would not be surprised, and I'm being honest when I say this, not be surprised to see this thing move down on Monday. However, we'll talk more about that this weekend when I've had a little better time to look at this. As it is right now, that's a huge, huge move. Big dragonfly slash hammer, whatever you want to call it, candle, and that is overall a bullish looking scenario for the time being. We'll see if it can hold here. Notice how it closed the week back above 10,000 on the Dow. Oh, lucky dogs. So after the long, slow bleed to the downside, we did see a big bounce here at the end of the day. Very similar on all the other charts. NDX, look at this, finally breaking some of this more major resistance. We had a pop above here, looked like it was over with, and then it bled to death for a while. Now we're back above it again. Still got a ways to go, though. We are not out of the woods. Daily on the NASDAQ, you can see, once again, same thing here. Big hammer at the end of the day, but right back up to overhead resistance. So we'll see if this thing's really done in the short term or if it's got a little bit left to go. NDX on a weekly, look at what we get right down here. Get a little doji for the end of the week on the NASDAQ. So, a few days down, little doji here, which gives us a reversal candle. No, potential reversal candle. Yes, that's right. Don't ever jump ahead of yourselves. Can't count chickens too early. Here's the SPX. Here was the channel I had to take care of those lines. Now they're all different now. But anyway, here was the channel we were following. Broke back down, broke below it. Now we're back up to it, using it as resistance. I'll probably be changing these lines this weekend. But you can see the huge move, end of the day, back to 1066. Ultimately, I really would have liked to have seen this thing get back above 1070 to give me a little bit more, to get me a little bit more bullish on it. I haven't seen it yet, so once again, I'm cautious going into the weekend, but fun to ride. If you were watching it and we're playing along, boy, this is a fun bounce to play. Here it is, a big hammer. I'll definitely call this one a hammer on the daily SPX after the massive move down here. The low of 1044, and we covered, what, about 22 points in an hour? It was an amazing run on the daily to end the week. Same thing here. This little spinning top doji sitting down here. Once again, potential reversal candle here. We'll be watching that closer coming into the weekend. We'll talk more about what we might see after the week's out. Here's the VIX. If you want to count a wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe it's done. Who knows? We don't know. I'm not worried about it. What I am looking at, though, the VIX falling back down into these areas here, showing that while fear was starting to climb, we got up towards this 2930 area. and quickly collapsed. Now, we haven't done a lot with the VIX, with the exception of I'm just saying not much fear. It really hasn't given. But now these indicators become important. These upper levels on the VIX, 28 to 30, those really show a a very overextended line in the VIX. Now, you guys, some of you that are new to trading are going to go back and go, "What is he talking about? This thing was at 80 like just a year ago." And you're right. But in most cases, in most markets, we will see a lot more. We will see a lot more of this fear gauge based upon a 28 to 30, 28 to 35 type of a range, as opposed to a 28 to 80 type of a range. That was really an anomaly. Maybe we get there again, but hard to tell. Coming up into this range is usually a mark of an kind of an over, I guess you would say, bought on the VIX. Hard to say overbought. That's not really the right terminology there. But I would say that fear tends to subside. How about that? When we reach a 30-ish level or so in the VIX. And that's what we saw. At the end of the week, we got between this 29-30 area, and fear started to kind of come back out of the markets as people expected a bounce, looked for a bounce, got their bounce, and fear came pouring back out. From a weekly standpoint, you can see what we see here, and that's just more kind of backwards action here. We did try to break up once again towards this upper 30 line. Fear coming right back out of the market's end of day. Apple on a 60-minute. Here you can see